connected world, but we have not been able to find solutions to serious problems that humanity faces: prejudices, insecurity, poverty, indifference. Yet, thousands of young people around the world dream of a fairer society and are looking for opportunities to get out of their comfort zone, give the best of themselves, and be part of the change. But where to start? Milonga is an international volunteer program that connects young people who want to act with different social organizations in many countries of the 5 continents, offering them a voluntary option oriented towards universal fraternity. Why Milonga? Milonga is a project that combines social action, training, and interculturality. The main objectives are to contribute to the mission of social organizations and to form global citizens capable of breaking down the walls of indifference, discrimination, and fear, and to be active citizens in their own communities. It is based on 3 pillars: social transformation, bidirectionality, where we all have something to give and something to receive, and formation for citizenship, providing spaces for training and constant support before, during, and after the experience of volunteering. Milonga offers the opportunity to have an intercultural experience and social commitment, where you can experience that it is possible to follow new paths of social transformation, human development, connection, and encounters between people.
Ciao ragazzi, manca poco alla diretta.
Vi aspettiamo e non dimenticate di seguirci sui nostri canali social come Primo Maggio Loppiano.
Ciao, a presto!
I'm 22. I came to Loppiano for a longer time. I would like to come. Is it possible?
People tell me to be cautious. People tell me not to lose my self-control. People tell me to be flawless. People tell me not to let myself evolve. And I think I don't really get it. I think it's all just a peculiar game. And soon I'll wake up and I'll forget it. And everyone will know me by a different name. I want it to be stronger. I want it to be everything for you. If I could be stronger, would you believe that I could love you like you want me to? Got me stronger for you. Love me like you want me to. Got me stronger for you. Love me like you want me to. I hold my breath every time. I try to keep myself dry, but did I ask too much? If I could do it again, would you believe what I said?
We live in an increasingly connected world, but we have not been able to find solutions to serious problems that humanity faces: prejudices, insecurity, poverty, indifference. Yet, thousands of young people around the world dream of a fairer society and are looking for opportunities to get out of their comfort zone, give the best of themselves, and be part of the change. But where to start? Milonga is an international volunteer program that connects young people who want to act with different social organizations in many countries of the 5 continents, offering them a voluntary option oriented towards universal fraternity. Why Milonga? Milonga is a project that combines social action, training, and interculturality. The main objectives are to contribute to the mission of social organizations and to form global citizens capable of breaking down the walls of indifference, discrimination, and fear, and to be active citizens in their own communities. it is based on 3 pillars: social transformation, bidirectionality, where we all have something to give and something to receive, and formation for citizenship, providing spaces for training and constant support before, during, and after the experience of volunteering. Milonga offers the opportunity to have an intercultural experience and social commitment, where you can experience that it is possible to follow new paths of social transformation, human development, connection, and encounters between people.
Adesso, can you hear me? Ok, ok. Ok, benissimo, grazie.
My world was losing speed and falling down. No turning back, no parachute, no ground control. But on your chance of getting to the dark, your breeze of life is now a wind of hope. Cause the sun gets higher, and it felt like fire, and a rope in lighting. We didn't say our hearts were about to explode, and now we know about your love. I was astray and lost before we met. You joined our hands together, given wings to fly beyond the walls and far across the sea. Now I believe 'cause I can feel your light. say your hearts were about to explode, and now I know about your love. 'Cause it took us higher, and I felt like flying, and I would be lying. We didn't say our hearts were about to explode, and now we know about your love. 'Cause it took us higher, and I felt like flying, and I would be lying. We didn't say our hearts were about to explode, and now I know about your love.
Buon pomeriggio!
Benvenuti al primo maggio.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the 1st of May, the virtual event 2021. I'm Sofia, I'm Juan Diego. We belong to Youth for United World, and we're transmitting directly from the auditorium in Loppiano near Florence. There will be live streaming with translations in 6 languages: English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, German and Arabic. A big welcome to everyone following from Italy and all over the world. Despite all the adversities of last year, the work for this event did not stop, and thanks to the efforts of many, today we are back here live on stage with a safely distanced audience present. It all started on the 1st of May 73, when about 10,000 young people travelled to the hills of Loppiano. They came from all over the world, attracted by the idea of living a revolutionary ideal, universal brotherhood. The message was spread by bands like Generoso and Gen Verde, who with their music awakened the desire for something more in the new generations. You can't bring about a revolution with songs, so said an Italian singer-songwriter, Francesca Guccini. And instead, that 1st of May 1973 set off a revolution that has never stopped. Even today, almost 50 years since the beginning of this adventure, artistic performances, life experiences and social actions are concretely changing the world in front of us. The theme of this edition takes its cue from the annual initiative of Young People for United World, Pathways for United World. The slogan for this year is Dare to Care, which means have the courage to take care of others. This is also the theme of United World Week, and an international initiative promoted by Youth for United World to raise public awarenesses for universal brotherhood. And this 1st of May in Loppiano is one of the opening events. We want to dare to come out of our personal comfort zones, which have been consolidated during the COVID time, to open ourselves up again to the world, to make the effort to really listen to the reality around us, to take care for ourselves and our social relationships. On this very special day, we also want to remember all those who work, and that includes all those people who are building a united world.
Do I use social media, or does social media use me?
I social ci hanno dato l'opportunità di rimanere in contatto con molte
Social media have given us the opportunity to keep in touch with many people, but we haven't benefited from really being together. Some situations seem distant, or we can't fully understand them because we haven't been able to know them truly. Now we're going to Marino, a town near Rome. The reception center of the cooperative One City is Not Enough has trusted us and opened its doors so that we can enter a reality that's not probably part of our daily life. I'm Sarah. I'm 40. I've been working in the One City is Not Enough center for 3 years. I wanted to work here as a social worker in the reception center. So it's 3 years now that I've been in contact with these amazing people. My name is Issam. I'm from Syria, from Homs, a city in the middle of Syria. My story begins when my family had to leave Syria and escape towards Lebanon. I was very lucky not to be killed 3 times over because of the bombs. There's a psychologist who helps us to deal with people because we realize that we're working with people who've suffered deep trauma. I've been living here 8 years. I was in Lebanon. I wasn't allowed to stay in Lebanon. I asked to go back, to go to Syria, but I would have to do military service, and being part of that war means you'd have to kill anybody in front of you, until I found the solution, which was to come to Italy. And on that very day, we heard that my father would only have about 2 or 3 more months to live because he had a tumor. So it was a very difficult decision. Also because I realized I would never see him again. So our last goodbye to him was in Lebanon before coming to Italy. Then I came to Italy and I was completely on my own. Change is like looking at an open sea. The sea is frightening and transforms our lives. That's what it's been like for me anyway, all the time. Here I met the reality of a social cooperative. In fact, during the first time that I was sharing this experience with them, it was then that I was able to understand that I'm not alone. So I wanted to be fully part of this reality and give a hand. Just as there beforehand had been someone who helped me too. It's not a relationship between me as a social worker and I'm helping you. But it's like an extended family. Whenever I go, I find those smiles, I find the joking, having fun, sharing, helping each other, creating a community with the idea of moving forward, building a better world, getting closer to others, and sharing in their pain, to create a source of affection where for various reasons or bad happenings in life, people find themselves alone. Because for me, each one of us in the depths of our hearts has a little city inside, a city of love, a city of intelligence, a city of power. But today, to achieve a united world, a better world, we need to unite these cities, because one city isn't enough.
In questa esperienza, quanto in tanti altri momenti dell'anno passato,
In this experience, as in so many other moments over the past year, we rediscover the importance of those who have listened to us and of listening. Listening to others can be a simple and at the same time very powerful way to help. But listening to ourselves can sometimes be more difficult than listening to others, especially when we are immersed in the silence of our room, away from our friends and loved ones. So save a memory.
Perché tutto questo silenzio?
Why all this silence? This stopping,
No,
as if we really need it.
abbiamo bisogno di incontrarci di persona.
No, we need to meet each other. We don't need to be afraid of those who brush up against us in the street, at the supermarket, on public transport. And even less do we need to isolate ourselves.
Quel senso di fallimento.
That sense of failure every time we are left with no one and nothing around.
Ma non abbiamo bisogno di sentirci inutili.
We don't need to feel useless at home. So why? What is it that we haven't figured out yet?
Tutte queste domande.
When I ask myself these questions, I do the one thing that gives me the feeling of being out of the house.
Di essere fuori casa. Uscire in balcone.
Go out onto the balcony,
Sole
and there,
di una coppia.
when I sit in the sun, I realize that there's a couple of people I've never seen before. Good evening. The words escape from my mouth as if I hadn't spoken in days. Good evening, they reply, smiling.
E sono
I go back into the house
sorpreso della mia felicità.
and I'm surprised by how happy I feel.
Finalmente
Ah,
questo
finally, I understand. This time, in which stopping is a must, brings with it, despite its contradiction, a series of unexpected gifts, so much so that it seems to be a time of grace. And I almost apologize for thinking, someone inside me is telling me to break my habits, to realize how precious it is to have a friend, or even a stranger to talk to spend time with them, listening, time, care, attention.
sembra che qualcuno mi stia dando
It's
un nuovo presente.
as if someone is giving me a new present moment, a new way of filling it with meaning.
Non era mai stato così piacevole. Lo scorrere
Never before has the flow of moments been so precious,
casa al lavoro.
because I can't run from home to work, from work to home.
Ma alcuni lo devono fare.
Some have to do it. And for them, yes, I want to use my precious moments well. I want the comfort of my hoping beyond hope to reach you as you take your last breath alone. I wish I could whisper in your ear, you did everything well. You did everything.
Restarti a
I want to stand beside you
fatica a respirare. Voglio
as you struggle to breathe. I want to go through your pain because it is mine now. And in this ocean of uncertainties, I want to remain faithful to what a good God, who is always watching over me, suggests to me. I want to remain faithful to that enchantment for every eternal present moment in which I can still love.
Being faithful to the present, in which despite everything we can still love. Our present today is full of contradictions and changes that don't always make it easy for us to make this leap of love towards those around us. And although these times have trapped us into a certain monotony in which time has almost lost meaning, despite everything we can still love. Time, how fast it passes when spent in the way that makes us truly happy. How much time we've wasted thinking that we'll have enough to do everything. Some people have felt the weight of time, like Joseph, a young man from Sierra Leone whose time was stolen from him.
Ciao a tutti, io sono Joseph e vengo dalla Sierra Leone.
Hi, I'm Joseph. I'm from Sierra Leone and I'm 28 years old. In the 1990s, my country was going through a civil war. The war was about controlling the wealth of the mineral wealth of our country. During those years, we were always playing with other children. A group of armed rebels came to my village. They came to my house and they kidnapped me with other children. We were going to their place, and one of the boys was tired. He said, "I'm really tired." And one of the rebels said, "Are you tired?" He said, "Yes, I'm really tired," thinking that they would help him to have a little rest. And then, without any hesitation, the rebel soldier shot him, and we went on walking. In that place, I was with a boss, someone who I was working with. He'd lost a child in the war, and he chose me to replace this child. He said, "You'll stay with me now." After many years during this war, one day, the place where we were, all the villages around us were ordered to bring us food to eat. It was always the women who brought the food. One day, among the women who brought the food, I saw my mother. My mother found me, and I actually thought that she was dead already. We recognized one another, and I spoke to her in our dialect. And I said, "Mum, pretend that you don't know me." So my mum said, "Fine, that's okay, but this evening we need to escape. It's a chance to escape." We agreed, and that evening I went to this boss of mine, this leader, and I said I want to go for a walk, and he said, "Yes, go." I went there into the woods and met my mother, and we ran away, and we went back to the government soldiers. We stayed there until the end of the war in 2002. Although the war was over, I was with my family and everyone. I then started to study. But before studying, I thought, what must I do in order to be a good person for the world and for society? So I wanted to be a teacher, because I thought that by becoming a teacher, I could give what I had received from God to other children, and they wouldn't have to live the life that I had been forced to live. Today, I'm studying at the Sevilla University Institute at Loppiano. I'm studying economics and management. We learned very many things there. I learned not only about economics, but how to live the culture of unity, in which I can always manage to live with diversity, with many people from different countries.
Oggi,
in life, I wanted to say, we must never stop during life, because when you think everything is over, it's the time to try to do more, to be better, to be good, to bring out the good. Before, I hadn't thought what I should do or what are we doing in life, but little by little I went forward. And when I met the focolare movement and I heard the words of Chiara Lubich, I understood that there is another way of understanding and living without being afraid, because I have a very strong ideal within me that I can give to other people to be a light for all. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Promettimi che prima di dormire, qualche volta, non tutte le sere, ti innamorerai e o poco tanto non ti accontenterai. Promettimi che prima di pesare il prossimo passo e pensare se va, ti ricorderai di sentire dentro cosa vuoi. Voci di miele da ricordare, risalire, e come marinai nel mare, non sentirne il confine, non sentirne il confine. Promettimi di far entrare il sole che asciuga le ossa, scalda bene il cuore, anche quando vivresti solo di notte o di guai. Promettimi di non mentirti mai, non prendere in giro pensando che puoi, non vantarti a caso e non sentirti migliore mai. Voci di miele da riascoltare per risalire, trovarne il confine. Io con te ho imparato a dire ti voglio bene e a saltare senza contare, e che conta quel che rimane, e che conta quel che rimane. Tutto scende per risalire, si tiene duro e si lascia andare, tutto passa per un canale, tutto serve, tutto è speciale, è così che mi piace pensare. Io con te ho imparato a dire ti voglio bene e a saltare senza contare, e che conta quel che rimane. Cambia tutto ma quello resta sempre uguale, e credo che sia questo amore, credo che sia questo amare.
Basta, Basta.
That's it. That's enough. There's a limit for everything. Headache. Have you got a headache? Well, at least you know you have a head. So why are you stuck to that screen, playing all those electronic games? Can you feel your neck? And your shoulder? And your wrists, your arms, your back? Oh, at last, you're with us again. Do you see you're not made up just of pixels? Do you know that thoughts and feelings exist in your body as real things, like a shove or a punch or a caress? Endorphins, adrenaline, dopamine. Have you heard of them? Well, when you're sad, your lips curl downwards, your body closes in on itself, and you move slowly. When you're angry, you grit your teeth, you clench your fists, your stomach gets stiff, you fidget. When you're afraid, your stomach hurts, your mouth gets dry, you begin to shake. It's not nice to feel all these things, I know. But even if you don't want to feel them, they exist the same, and they become part of our body. So listen to me. Stop. Listen. Emotions come, grow, pass, like waves. Breathe. 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 And even if you feel like crying, that's okay, cry. When things aren't going well, you can cry. Let go, move a bit, breathe. Well, look around. The world is still here. Ceiling, floor. The world doesn't end. And you are still here. Give yourself time. It takes time to fix things. How do you fix a broken leg? You have to keep it still, in a restful position, and then you give the body time to heal. In a sense, the virus did exactly that. It stopped us. So we can see the breakdowns, repair them, and start again. Well, how do you feel now? Okay. So then, from now on, when you have bad thoughts, you can always breathe, come back to me, listen to me. Oh, that's very interesting. But just one thing, who are you? Aha, I'm you. I am your body.
Sai cos'è che fa paura in questa sera, in questa stanza? Non mi ero mai fatto questa domanda. E che questa grande calma mi consuma anche le ossa. E qualcuno bussa alla mia porta. Non c'è macchina che passa, non c'è più niente che distragga. E ciò che sento è la mia ombra. Dimmi dove sei, dimmi cosa fai, esci sotto casa o resti sotto le lenzuola. Dimmi perché mai ora tra di noi ciò che ci separa è più di 1 metro di distanza. Solo adesso so chi sono davvero, che sono nudo. Tutte queste domande mi hanno spogliato. Solo adesso so chi siamo davvero, che sono solo, e ora che tu non ci sei mi manca un pezzo, mi manca un pezzo. Sai cos'è che dà speranza anche durante questa guerra. Alza la testa e guarda, c'è quel cielo che si mostra nonostante la distanza. Ci si perde, ci si ritrova. Dimmi se ci sei, dimmi se lo fai, esci proprio adesso e guardati un po' attorno. Solo adesso so chi sono davvero, perché sono nudo. Tutte queste domande mi hanno spogliato. Solo adesso so chi siamo davvero, perché sono solo. E ora che tu non ci sei mi manca un pezzo, mi manca un pezzo. Non so come sarà lì fuori, saremo forti o stanchi, sapere come siamo fatti ci farà andare avanti. Solo adesso so chi sono davvero, perché sono nudo. Tutte queste domande mi hanno spogliato. Solo adesso so chi siamo davvero, che sono solo. E ora che tu non ci sei mi manca un pezzo. Solo adesso so chi sono davvero, perché sono nudo. Queste domande mi hanno spogliato. Solo adesso so chi siamo davvero, perché sono solo. E ora che tu non ci sei mi manca un pezzo, mi manca un pezzo.
Sai, Juan, stavo pensando alla connessione.
You know, Juan, I was thinking about this connectivity, which isn't just with other people, but is first and foremost with ourselves. If we fully accept the times we're sad because we know that sooner or later they'll pass, we'll stop being afraid. We'll unblock ourselves. We can begin to look around and decide what we can and what we want to change. We don't always manage to do big things right away, but even small ones have consequences. In any case, they remind us that we are the people in the front line of our own lives. Sure, what you're saying reminds me of somebody's experience. Have you ever been to Loppiano? I'm here now. But do you know that you can come for more than a couple of days a year? There are a lot of young people who come here to this little town for maybe 6 or 12 months in order to have an experience of universal fraternity. Can anybody come? Of course. You need a bit of courage sometimes because you have to leave everything else behind, leave faraway continents and come here to spend a year trying to immerse yourself in this universal brotherhood. So it can be a bit complicated for people, and it can be complicated arriving here. That's why Pedro's story is very interesting indeed. Welcome, Pedro. Pedro's a good example. Hi, I'm Pedro. I'm from Brazil. I'm 23 years old, a member of the focolare youth. I often heard experiences of young people who spent time in little towns of the movement like this, here or elsewhere. They were amazing experiences, and I admired their courage, giving a year of their life to God, but I thought it wasn't for me because I had to study. I'm doing medicine. It takes a long time. But I realized deep down that these were just excuses. And bit by bit, I felt that God was saying to me that if I made this decision, he would look after everything. After that moment, I became closer to God, and my desire to give myself to him more grew. I talked about it with other people, decided to start praying, and to give God the whole of the next year. I immediately felt God's answer in the many challenges that came up and which were very quickly resolved. I also received great support from my family and my girlfriend, and they gave me the strength to go ahead. I thought, if I want to do this for God, I have to trust Him for everything and in everything. So I decided to come here. After that, we all know what happened in 2020, which was a year full of uncertainty. When I started preparing my documents and the passport, the borders were closed, and I received the news that the Italian consulate wouldn't issue a visa to anyone. During the past year, I prayed a lot. I tried to talk to God to entrust Him what I was preparing to do. At first, I thought I would come to Italy on my own. Then I met two girls, Barbara and Giuliani, who, like me, were waiting to come to Italy. We had a great experience, and we encouraged one another, especially when the things were very doubtful. There was also the question of money, of course. Because of the pandemic, I wasn't able to earn as much as I would normally have done. So with the focolare community in my city, we started to fundraise, and we raised much more than the rosiest forecasts. Concerning the visa, in December, a decree of the Italian government unblocked the situation. We immediately contacted the consulate. The manager told us to come and that we would get the visa the same day, and that doesn't usually happen. And that's what we did. And then we arrived to Loppiano. After 3 hours after arriving here, the border was closed again, and it's still closed. So I'm here. It's a beautiful experience, living together with other young people of different cultures and backgrounds. It's a very, very nice experience, but it's not always easy because there are many differences we notice. But the desire to build something beautiful together is stronger. In Loppiano every year, we try to do something for older people resident in a nursing home nearby. But now, because of the pandemic, we weren't able to go and see them. We decided to keep them company in an alternative way, so we prepared a little show for them via Zoom. We worked really hard for this, and they were delighted to receive our love, even if it came from a distance. So small things of this kind, which witness to what we're trying to live amongst us, to the unity we're trying to live. I feel that God is close to me, and He's continuing to guide me with His love.
What is my commitment to others? So, what now? Well, we started by hearing the story of Issam and Sonia. We rediscovered the strength and determination that Joseph and Pedro found in themselves on their way to Loppiano. And now it's the turn of a girl who was born and who lives in these parts and who decided to join the Dare to Care campaign, to have the courage to take care of each other. Dare to Care is the slogan and hashtag of the 2021 Pathway for a United World campaign, promoted by the young people of the focolare movement. It's a simple but effective idea. Many young people have joined this initiative, and here's Agatha. Yes, may they all be one. This is a sentence that Chiara Lubick fully represents, and this initiative has given me love for unity. I've always been part of the focolare movement in Loppiano, and in my daily life I try to bring the light of the ideal of unity through my thoughts and actions. I have always attended the oratory of my village, trying to bring an ideal from there too, that of Don Bosco and his love for young people. What's more, I have always been a scout, perfect teachers in helping me understand that my life is only worthwhile if given to others. In November 2020, the Dare to Care Commission started in Loppiano. In this moment, which is so difficult for everyone, we decided not to be frightened by the situation and to continue to love concretely. The first action was aiutiamoci, let's help one another. There's a play on words there with the Italian word love, to set up a chain of support for families in need. On Sunday, the 13th of December, we had a food collection in the various parishes of our town, taking the idea from what the various Caritas organisations have always done over the years. And that was the best thing about this collection, to see that we were all working together for a single goal, to bring a little joy to those who really need it. And that's where there was the biggest thank you that I have ever seen, in the face of a mother to whom we gave Christmas parcels for her children, in her voice when she thanked us, saying that it would be the only gift they would receive. The thank you that I've seen in the eyes of those who realise that as well as the food allocated for the week, there's also a Christmas parcel made up especially for them, which makes them feel unique and important. Dare to Care has managed to do this, to unite not only the various associations or movements during that day, but it sparked in me a desire to get to know what's going on around me. After donating the parcels of food that we had collected, I decided to continue whenever I can to help the Caritas. And like me, other girls also help at the food bank. We built a beautiful relationship with people who have already been involved for years and who enrich us every time, showing us how happy and grateful they are to see how we work together for the needs of the surrounding community. Each time is a breath of fresh air for us, listening to the stories of every person who comes, sharing their difficulties, knowing that a particular person, Mr. Mario, he can't drink milk, and so we don't put milk in his shopping, or else have a toy ready when Francesca comes with her child, who would love one. All these things help me to understand how much the time we give them means to these families. It's as if we were like little plants, and they water us with their experience and gratitude and help us grow by reminding us that we are important for them. One thing leads to another, and this is how, from a special initiative of Dare to Care, organised to build more and more bridges between the various realities, we found ourselves carrying out a service through which we have the opportunity to meet surprising new friends who accompany us in this part of the journey of life. So thanks to Dare to Care, and thank God above all for confirming once again that together everything is more beautiful. Thank you.
Ciao, ti voglio bene, mi sono accorto che questo è il motivo, se ci si vede, oppure che piacere di rivederti, ti ricordi erano tempi diversi, per questo poi ci siamo persi, ma dove andiamo adesso per sederci e come va con quei permessi, gettala ancora e non dire ancora come stai, che ci sono persone sincere, ma non puoi chiedergliela a bruciapelo che ti meno. Tutto bene, anch'io vorrei essere libero, dammi solo uno spazio propizio per dirti quello che ho tenuto dentro, perché tu puoi sapere come va, cosa significa, è un po' meno, e posso raccontarti che con la squadra da ieri noi siamo quarti in classifica, ma vorrei essere secondo, se in questo terzo tempo riesco a mettermi all'ascolto del tuo universo, saresti bene al primo posto, forse ci riuscirò, so che ci riuscirai a non dire come stai, che ci sono persone sincere, ma non puoi chiedergliela a bruciapelo che ti meno. Tutto bene, anch'io vorrei essere libero, dammi solo uno spazio propizio per dirti quello che ho tenuto dentro, perché tu puoi sapere. Non dimenticare che torni pure tu dai tuoi ricordi, chissà cosa dei tuoi giorni vorrai dargli, ma lascia stare i tuoi racconti, aspetta 2 manciate di secondi lunghi, sei il custode dei silenzi, della volta dei discorsi sei la chiave se proteggi i suoi silenzi, come sai fare tu. Ritarda il come stai, parlando delle novità, ascolta tutto bene, per essere libero, lo spazio, il tempo, per dirti quello che ho tenuto dentro e che tu puoi sapere.
Sai Juan, c'è un'espressione che mi piace davvero tanto, resilienza. Spesso si abusa.
You know, Juan, there's an expression I really like, resilience. It's a word that's often misused, even in contexts when it's used inappropriately too. At other times, it's like the right word to describe the strength and determination to get back on your feet. Like our friends in Lebanon did, who despite the tragic events in their country have been willing and able to look at the needs of the people around them. 18 different religious traditions, a civil war consisting of multiple wars from 75 to 1990. Lebanese society was vertically divided along confessional lines. In October 2019, people could no longer stand corruption and political inertia. They took to the streets to protest against their political class. The 4th of August, the explosion in the port killed more than 220 people, injured 6,000, and left 300,000 homeless.
Il giorno dell'esplosione ero a casa.
On the day of the explosion, I was at a friend's house less than a kilometer from the port when it happened. I was thrown to the ground, and as soon as I tried to get up, I was thrown back to the ground by a second explosion. A few seconds later, a woman approached us crying, asking for help for a foot injury. We asked a nearby shop for help, and they gave us a chair and a bandage for the woman. We've lost the soundtrack, but I'm going to keep on reading. With every step, I could hear the sound of glass breaking. Beirut was dark with no lights. Once we arrived, my grandmother's house was completely destroyed, with no windows, no doors, and even a wall that had completely fallen down. The same thing happened to my father's shop. All my childhood memories in this place became a pile of rubble. Joël says, the next morning we didn't waste a single minute thinking about it. All we knew was that there were people who needed help. We were together, and that gave us courage. Once we arrived at the designated house, we knew it was a big shock for us. The house was a mess. We started cleaning the windows, the pieces of wood, and throwing away many damaged things. The Youth for United World contacted me to help out. They managed to send a group of 11 people to clean the place up and to get everything in order. I couldn't be more grateful to them, really. At the time of the explosion, I saw death in front of me, but just a moment later, I heard a voice inside me saying, "Your life doesn't end here. God is with you, and He loves you. He never abandons anyone." It was at that moment that I understood what it meant to trust God.
Agnese ha lasciato partire il treno stamattina perché non era il suo e lo guarda andare via. Bruno ha trovato nel bicchiere una moneta d'oro, l'ha spesa in una notte per una squallida magia. Maddalena ha fatto una scoperta e non ne può parlare. Carlo ha riso troppo da sentirsi male. Giada è partita svelta e non vuole più tornare. Matteo ha scelto di restare. Ed è bello che in tutta questa gente io trovi un po' di te, io trovi un po' di te e di me, un po' di te e di me. Un po' di te e di me. Ilenia ha combattuto il suo buio personale. Leo le ha chiesto finalmente di scendere a ballare. Maria ha perso i capelli in una lotta troppo dura. Paolo li raccoglie, così fa meno paura. Perla è diventata mamma e sembra una bambina. Ale ha visto il mare che cammina. Ed è bello che in tutta questa gente io trovi un po' di te e di me, un po' di te e di me, un po' di te e di me. Le lenzuola sono calde, Rosa è addormentata, Marco ha gli occhi rossi perché non l'ha mai capita. Ed è bello che in tutta questa gente io trovi un po' di te, io trovi un po' di te e di me. Ed è bello che anche se poco più di niente, se guardo dentro te io trovi un po' di te e di me, un po' di te e di un po' di te e di me, no, no.
Che anno, pieno di ricerche, di difficoltà, di vuoti da riempire.
A life full of difficulties, emptiness, challenges that pushed us to listen to ourselves and others. All that I've learned this year, I want to put it in my time capsule, that in the future someone else can find it as a treasure.
Ciao a tutti, sono Mirko, sono un giovane per un mondo unito di Reggio nel nord Italia.
I'm Mirko. I'm a young person from United World from Reggio Emilia, northern Italy. I'm 19 and I do break dance. I'd like to talk to you about the volunteer project on disability that I started to attend in my town in January. It means spending an afternoon a week with young people who are mentally impaired or have physical difficulties, and with other volunteers we strive to be more autonomous in everyday activities like shopping, taking a bus, cooking. Since I was a boy, I wanted to help people at a disadvantage. So I chose to dedicate some of my free time to these people, and with other young people, we try to help them be more responsible, how to self-manage in order to be more autonomous from their families. I decided to get involved with this because I've always been interested and impressed with the experiences I hear about these people and I cannot bear seeing young people and adults who can exclude people with physical or mental disabilities. So I thought it'd be nice to use my free time, to make good use of my free time to help people who have disabilities, who are differently able, and teach them little things that they can do every day. I end by telling you my own opinion. If each of us were to dedicate a part of our time to any project at all, maybe the reality of things would be much better and we would all be richer, better off.
Ringraziamo Mirko Bertrami per la sua esperienza.
So we would like to thank Mirko Beltrami. It's in this way, little things build a new world. Universal fraternity is not just a goal, but also an instrument within our reach every day. There are many actions, large and small, that are changing humanity all over the world. One of these is of Jorge George, a young Colombian in Italy, who, although far from his country, has found a way to listen to the voice of his fellow citizens and give back dignity, not just from a moral, but also a political point of view. Lasting peace is also built by repairing the damage of destroyed social relations, and this is what Jorge strives for every day.
Allora, stiamo giungendo alla fine di questa diretta.
Well, we're coming to the end of this transmission,
to the end of this live broadcast,
but the United World Week
with many
doesn't
events.
end
Here are
here.
some of them.
Ciao!
Benvenuti.
Here are
Welcome.
some of them. Hi, everyone.
Hi,
we
everybody.
are Alejandro and Laura from Colombia, and we do representing thousands of young people on 5 continents will be joining the May 1st celebration in Loppiano to end this wonderful year of Data Care in a festive mood. We will connect this afternoon with young people from many Spanish-speaking countries to share our experiences of peace that concern health, politics, ecology, art, and even sport. We know that a united world is a reality amongst us. We invite you to take part in our webinar. So count on us. Our planetary webinar, 6 p.m. Italian time. Count on us and our commitment to world peace. Of course, the United World Week is full of other events. There'll be an international convention from Brussels on the 9th. But there's a very special thing coming up before that. The movement, the Politics for Unity movement. Thank you for this invitation to participate in your event. As you have said, tomorrow is an important day on the 2nd of May. 1996 was the founding day in Naples of the Politics for Unity movement, and it'll be the 25th anniversary of this movement, of this international network of adults and young politicians, civil servants, committed at various levels, scholars, citizens, among others, of different backgrounds and parties, who recognize in universal fraternity the content and method of their political commitment, and therefore they form a network aimed at generating quality political relations. So we hope to see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock Rome time for an online event in which we will launch the Appeal for Quality Politics, the result of a collective and participatory process that we are addressing to those directly involved in political action. It's an appeal to act so that politics becomes a quality activity, one that can take care of people, starting with the most vulnerable and also the planet. We look forward to seeing you at 2. Thank you. We'll be there. Instead, there's Gen Verde this evening. But then the Gen Rosso on Saturday with Together We Care.
Sophie, I think we're nearly at the end. What stayed with you after all of this? Well, we've met some amazing people, young people like us, but with very different experiences. What we heard today doesn't leave us indifferent with all their pain, but above all, because they're telling us that young people like us have the courage to accept and overcome challenges. Yes, we are the same age, but life has given us different ways. And they have shown us that no matter what events hit our lives, in each case we decide how to react by having that strength, that resilience to go beyond our pain, even beyond ourselves, daring to take care of each other and move forward together. Special thanks go to all the artists who performed on the stage, to those who shared their experiences, and above all to the young people who worked behind the scenes of this event, from the technical staff to the program team, not forgetting the communications team and many other people who made it all possible. Before we say goodbye, we would like to share a final gift, and we'd like to share this with you. It's a message from the new president of the Focolare movement, Margaret Karam. She was born in Palestine to an Arab and Catholic family and is an Israeli national. She is well aware of the rifts and barriers that separate us from fraternity, and as a person and as president, she strives daily to overcome them. We asked her, to the young people of the 1st of May, we would like to make a time capsule. Imagine opening it in 2031, thinking about this difficult time, but also about your past experiences. You will have in your heart a word or a piece of advice that still accompanies you today in order to deal with what you experience in your daily life. What would you like to pass on to future generations in 2031? She answered us with a video. Let's look at it now, but we can see it as often as we want on all our social channels. So we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you in the next 1st of May, the 1st of May 2022. And every day, together, we care. We dare to care.
Greetings to all of you who are participating in the May the 1st event and are linked up in various parts of the world. There are words that will always remain relevant, not only in 2021 or 2031, but that have stood the test of time and will continue to do so. I would like to mention two, which, in my opinion, are at the basis of every change, every revolution, and the development of individuals and nations. The first word is courage. Nothing will ever change if we don't make a start, if we don't take risks, if we don't roll up our sleeves. And I would add, if we're not willing to keep going with our commitment in an ever more decisive and active way for a greater good. It's not easy, I know. We have to make sacrifices, but we're not alone. Many of you have already begun, and there are many of us around the world. We are all over the world. Sometimes the hardest thing of all is to get started, taking the first step, and then we can continue to work together. Let's try not to miss this opportunity. The second word is the word care. Following the crisis caused by the pandemic, which has affected 3/4 of the world, we increasingly feel the need to respond to all of this precisely by taking care of each other, sharing skills, resources, and goods. This is the only way we can be saved. Care, taking care, is a very powerful vaccine because it heals loneliness, it heals indifference and distance, and it meets more practical needs such as food, work, and peace. In fact, love triggers in the people we care for the desire to reciprocate, and it spreads antibodies that set in motion a new culture, the culture of care, the seeds of a new world. But the greatest care of all is to love one another, to be ready to give our lives for one another, to love and let yourself be loved. Let's always ask ourselves, who is my neighbor right now? Also for future generations, I'd like to say that unless love prevails in our hearts and we put it into practice by creating true and authentic bonds with those we live with, the world will not change. The greatest danger of all is not to love. So have a good United World Week, everyone. I hope that all of you, and I too, will have the courage to take care of each other without leaving anyone out.
Adesso posso chiudere la capsula.
So now I can close the capsule, the time capsule.
Cause you took us higher, and I felt like flying, and I woke in light. We didn't say our hearts were about to explode, and now we know about your love. My world was losing speed and falling down. The turning back the parachute, no ground control, but only chance appeared into the dark. Your breeze of life is no window of hope. Cause it took us higher, and it felt like fire, and it won't be lighter. We didn't say our hearts were about to explode. felt like flying, and it would be lying if we didn't say our hearts were about to explode. And now we know about your love. 'Cause it took us higher, and it felt like flying, and it would be lying. We didn't say our hearts were about to explode. And now we know about your love. 'Cause it took us higher, and it felt like flying, and it would be lying. We didn't say our hearts were about to explode. And now we know about your love. 'Cause it took us higher, and it felt like flying, and it would be lying. We didn't say our hearts were about to explode. And now we know about your love. Dropped it, and it felt like flying.